Coming up next on a special edition of This Week in Torrance, we have an up-close look at the 53rd Annual Armed Forces Day Parade and celebration. First, the U.S. Air Force hauls out their big guns and planes for the military exhibit. Then the Air Force Band of the Golden West performs for the community. Plus, families of Air Force recruits enjoy a barbecue and drill competition. And of course, we'll have all the sights, sounds, and people of the 53rd Annual Armed Forces Day Parade. These stories and much more are just seconds away. This is a special Armed Forces Day Parade edition of This Week in Torrance. Hello everyone, I'm Ben McCain, and thanks for joining us on this special Armed Forces Celebration edition of This Week in Torrance. The Armed Forces Day Parade is an annual tradition that honors the legacy of the United States Armed Forces. The parade has been making its way through our city for 53 years. Torrance is one of the few cities in the U.S. designated by the Department of Defense to host an Armed Forces Day Parade. It also has the distinction of being the nation's longest continuously running military parade sponsored by any city in America. Every year, the parade honors a specific military branch, and this year it was the U.S. Air Force. As the aerial warfare branch of the Armed Forces, the U.S. Air Force started out as part of the Army. Today, the Air Force operates nearly 6,000 manned aircraft, and some of those vehicles were on display at the Del Amo Fashion Center. The military exhibit helps kick off all the weekend celebrations. Let's go out to reporter Ella Sagamonian for more.
For operating room specialist Kelly Green, Armed Forces Weekend is a time to share with her family what she sees at work on a daily basis.
He knows when I leave, and he knows he'll tell Mommy Army, Mommy March. And so I want him to be able to know what exactly I do and what exactly I see on a regular basis so that he can be just excited to see all these really cool things as I am.
And for her own mom, the military exhibit brought her closer to her daughter's world.
It makes it very real to me, and it made me more nervous to see it up close.
The Green family is one of many families that visited the military exhibit, where millions of dollars worth of equipment were on display for civilians to experience up close and personal.
That's right, clear! Back up. Back up. Removing! Push back the line! Stop by! Stop, one away! Boom! Jump back! Ain't no mission! Ain't no mission!
All military branches had the chance to showcase their extreme wings, wheels, and gadgets.
We're just out here talking to people about being a Navy diver, telling them what it's like, you know, showing what we can do, what we're capable of with the dive tank here and the display.
From protecting citizens to healing soldiers, the exhibit also gave a peek into the tent, where surgeries are performed at combat sites in foreign lands.
Basically, this is a mock-up of our emergency room. We could set this hospital up anywhere in the world in 24 hours. And so everything here is portable and breaks down. A lot of people don't realize our capabilities. And so we like to show the public what we're capable of doing and how we take care of people. And also, we're a reserve hospital. We work in the community, so we're your neighbors.
And here we are in a simulated operating room where kids get a chance to help out a fallen soldier just like they would in the real-life battlefield. What are we going to be doing here today, Delaney?
I think we're going to show how to stop the blood.
The bleeding? Yeah. Is this something that you would be interested in doing later, you think?
I do not think so.
No, it's just for fun, just for today?
I'm not really good with blood, and now I'm good because she said that it's only Gatorade, so I'm like, okay, good.
Oh, okay. So that's the only reason why we're helping today. It's Gatorade.
As the kids were introduced to the ways of the military, Armed Forces Weekend gave everyone a chance to better understand how our soldiers serve our nation. For Torrance CitiCABLE, I'm Ella Sagamonian.
Thank you, Ella. The military exhibit shares some of the Armed Forces' historic equipment. The Air Force Band of the Golden West has a rich history as well. They've gone by several different names: the 15th Air Force Band of the Golden West, the Air Mobility Command Band of the Golden West, America's Band in Blue, the 404th Air Force Band of the Golden Gate. They've appeared on the Today Show, the Tonight Show, and every year this 47-member organization performs in 250 shows throughout the western states of Oregon, Washington, Idaho, Nevada, and California, like their performance at the James Armstrong Theater. Reporter J.Z. Jeans takes us there.
I'm Jay-Z Jeans here for Torrance CitiCABLE 3, here with Mayor Frank Scotto. And Mayor Scotto, I'd like to ask you, why is this such an important event for the city of Torrance?
Well, we're so honored. The residents of the city of Torrance are so patriotic, and we want to honor everybody that's in the military. And we're so honored to have the Air Force drill team here tonight. And we have Captain Stanton directly behind you here that's going to tell us about the drill team and what they do.
Captain Stanton, what does this event mean to you?
This event to me it's a great opportunity. We came all the way from Joint Base Anacostia Bowling in Washington, D.C., and the mission of the Air Force Honor Guard drill team is to represent airmen to the American public and to the world. So this is the first opportunity we've had to come out to the West Coast so far this year, so we're very excited to be here and partake in all the parade festivities this weekend, so very exciting.
Dozens of Torrance residents lined up to see the Armed Forces Day band performance. This may be a yearly tradition for many residents, but some attendees were experiencing it for the first time.
It's actually my first time coming to the music event, but it's like my 6th parade for Torrance Armed Forces Day.
Security was tight for this event, which hosted high-ranking U.S. Air Force officials and Torrance City leaders.
We started planning for the security detail in months in advance. It's something that we do annually, so we kind of have everything already figured out.
Led by Captain Haley Armstrong, the U.S. Air Force Band of the Golden West played traditional selections along with culturally diverse pieces. Captain Armstrong, just one of 3 female conductors in the Air Force, believes that music connects us all.
When they get into this setting and they are feeling more patriotic, and then they're hearing about what our airmen do, and it's that combination, instead of just talking to someone, but you can change emotionally how they feel. And then when we go international, we don't even need language.
And while the show was jam-packed with music, some band members found time to squeeze in a workout mid-performance. In addition to bringing the community and armed forces together, these events allow Air Force members of all ranks to share the same space.
It's actually an honor just being here, just being in the same room as all the generals and the Secretary of the Air Force. I know it sounds funny, but we still fangirl a little bit. It's a big honor. So it's really cool seeing just the higher ups, because most of the time we don't get a chance to see them.
For many Armed Forces Day supporters, coming to the concert and other events is a long tradition and will continue to be long into the future.
We've been attending for a long, long time. For now have 3 generations going here, so it's a major event for Torrance.
For This Week in Torrance, I'm Jay-Z Jeans.
Thank you, Jay-Z. Reveille is the bugle call associated with the military. It's used to wake personnel at sunrise. Thankfully, on Armed Forces Day, the U.S. Air Force sounded off a bit later for their morning formation. Reporter T.K. Trinidad takes us to their wake-up call and the raising of the colors.
The horn sounded. The flag waved back and forth. The Army, Marine Corps, Air Force, Coast Guard, and the Navy gathered together for the morning formation, which is typically done in all military units, but not typical for all units to do it together. For the commander of the troop formation at the 53rd Armed Forces Day, Lieutenant Colonel Dave Lerner thinks this event is an important one.
It's one of those times each year that we make that connection with the community.
With over 21 years in the Air Force and currently with the GPS Squadron, Lieutenant Lerner has many stories to tell, but he believes the most important one is...
The most important stories are the ones that we're developing right here, right today.
Every year, the city highlights and recognizes a branch of the armed forces for their work. This year, it's the Air Force. General Roger Teague, Vice Commander of the Space and Missile Systems Center, says something like the morning formation helps to create a bond between civilians and the armed forces.
Days like today reinforce the pride, the patriotism, the common bond that we all share as Americans.
Armed Forces Day is to celebrate our current men and women serving in the military. Lieutenant Steve DeAndrew believes the formation component of the event is a great way to kick off the Armed Forces Parade.
It gave an opportunity for the Secretary of the Air Force, who was our Grand Marshal, and all of our senior flag officers, which are one the highest ranking general from each branch that was able to come.
Help feed these precious orphans. Show them that someone cares. Donate now at foodfororphans.org.
A quarterback, a class clown, a natural leader, someone's son, someone's father, someone's best friend. For those who died in the Vietnam War, the greatest tribute is to see them not just as names on the wall, but as the people they were. The Education Center at the wall will put faces to the names. It will preserve photos, letters, and mementos of veterans so their stories and sacrifice will never be forgotten. Call or click now. Help us build it.
My wife and I think our son drinks too much. We hate to see him wasting his life. A therapist told us to try Al-Anon family groups where we can find understanding and support. He was right. It means a lot to be with people who understand what you're going through. Are you troubled by someone's drinking? You might be surprised at what you could learn in an Al-Anon family group meeting from people just like you. Call 1-8884-AL-ANON or visit alanonfamilygroups.org.
Welcome back, and if you're just joining us, we're bringing you exclusive coverage of the 53rd Annual Armed Forces Day Parade celebration. Boot camp is now a common way to describe any fast and tough training. In the 8.5 weeks of Air Force boot camp or basic training, recruits learn combat techniques and the proper way to address a superior. It's also where they undergo rigorous physical training to prepare their bodies for combat. Recruits and their parents got a taste of what boot camp might be like at the annual family barbecue. Reporter Charlena Brown tells us more.
I felt alone because I'm a mom, didn't want him to go, my only child. But seeing everyone else here, I'm feeling a little bit more comfortable.
And feeling comfortable is exactly what Virginia Steinberg can expect here. Together with other family members of future soldiers, Steinberg is celebrating and supporting these new recruits into the U.S. military.
Here at the Armed Forces Barbecue, there's plenty of room to spread out a blanket and enjoy the festivities, and to celebrate the military's future soldiers.
Recruits from all 5 branches of the military are able to show off their physical abilities by participating in some exercises. While being in top physical condition is important for most soldiers, Matthew Mashisha also believes in having a particular mindset.
It's not too challenging. It's you put your heart and mind to it, you can accomplish anything.
The long lines didn't stop people from feasting on the burgers and hot dogs, and they were even able to enjoy a live Navy band.
Have you seen those grills? We got some massive grills out there. Yeah, we have truckloads of patties and hot dogs, and we unloaded all the buns this morning, and you'll see in a little bit the line's going to be down the street.
This father will get to see not 1, but 2 of his children join the military.
It's beyond words. It's a proud accomplishment. It makes me proud as a parent to see my daughters want to carry on the legacy.
The city of Torrance might show support to their residents, but they are also proud to support the men and women of the military.
Torrance does a fantastic job taking care of us. They open their hearts, they open their homes, and they definitely always take care of us here.
After the barbecue, a shuttle service will transport attendees to the parade route where they can see about 600 future soldiers participating in the annual tradition. For This Week in Torrance, I'm Charlena Brown.
Thank you, Charlena. While the main attraction for the public may be the parade, there is another event just for members of the armed forces. This exclusive gathering gives the city an opportunity to thank Secretary of the Air Force Michael B. Donnelly, who served as the parade Grand Marshal. Guests also have the chance to mingle with distinguished military personnel. Reporter Maudette Lewis takes us to the dignitaries' dinner.
The dinner is a tribute to all the dignitaries, Air Force members, and support staff who came out in record numbers and contributed in making this event exceptional. The Grand Marshal of the event is Secretary of the Air Force Michael Donnelly, who was honored with a proclamation and the key to the city of Torrance. Donnelly took to the podium and commended the Air Force for their tremendous efforts in Afghanistan and Iraq.
The men and women of the United States Air Force have never faltered, and they continue to answer the nation's call by providing unmatched global vigilance, reach, and power across a full spectrum of operations.
Lieutenant General Ellen Polakowski was also recognized at the dinner for becoming the first female commander of the Space and Missile Systems Center at LA Air Force Base. She says this was her 4th Torrance Armed Forces Day celebration.
What a fantastic weekend, culminating this evening with a wonderful meal and the wonderful friendships that I have here with the Torrance community. It really makes me feel like this is my adopted hometown here in Los Angeles.
Mayor Frank Scotto says he is proud that the city continues to celebrate Armed Forces heroes.
We are so pleased to be part of that celebration here in Torrance, to have our community come out and support our military and to honor them for their sacrifices. Not only they do, but their families do also.
The highlight of the event was a performance by the U.S. Air Force drill team.
Ladies and gentlemen, representing every airman, past and present, of the United States Air Force, your United States Air Force counterpart.
Councilman Tom Brewer is the chairman of the Armed Forces Day and says this year's event is the best to date.
Every year it gets better, and I can't tell you, this was the biggest crowd we've had. I mean, what a thrill it was to have the Secretary of the Air Force come out and be the Grand Marshal. What a great day.
Next year's featured service branch will be the Marines. Major General Melvin Speece says he is looking forward to presenting the Marines in Torrance.
It's certainly our turn, and I'm excited about the prospects of Marines leading the parade. Chance to make sure we get a band back here and a bigger display. So I think it's wonderful, a chance to highlight the Marine Corps in Torrance. So I'm looking forward to it.
For This Week in Torrance, I'm Maudette Lewis.
Thank you, Maudette. Here are some facts about the U.S. Air Force. They have more than 329,000 active personnel. Their headquarters is at the Pentagon. Their colors are ultramarine blue and Air Force yellow. And their motto is aim high, fly, fight, win. And still ahead, we'll take you through the sights and sounds of the 53rd Annual Armed Forces Day Parade.
Some dogs fetch and roll over. Some dogs take you to Spain and shopping for refrigerators. Help you get through grad school, start your own business, go on hikes in the Grand Canyon. Some dogs you trust with your life every day. Being partners with a guide dog is having the freedom to do what you want in life. Nothing more, nothing less. And with your help, nothing need ever change that. Call 1-888-884-DOGS or visit guidedogs.com.
How far would you go to help someone? Would you go to the end of your driveway? Would you cross a street? Would you cross an ocean? To a place 6,000 miles from home? And how long would you go? Would you go for a week? A month? A year? Would you go for 2 years? Would you go if you could use your knowledge to teach someone, and in the process, maybe learn something yourself? Life is calling. How far will you go? Peace Corps.
After a bit of a struggle, this man is grinning. That's because he's the winner of the Western Museum of Flight's Opportunity Drawing. On Armed Forces Day, Guy Seitz was one of the lucky passengers who got to fly in a World War II warplane. These warbirds are part of the Condor Squadron, a group of planes and pilots who do flybys for memorials and parades like the Armed Forces Day Parade here in Torrance. But for many South Bay residents, finding their spot on the sidelines and watching the Armed Forces Day Parade is an annual tradition. Reporter Shay Uval finds out just what makes the display of patriotism so special.
My family and I have been coming to this parade since probably about 15 years. My father, who's a veteran, he is in the Navy, and he fought in the Korean War. And he, when we were growing up, he'd always show us his pictures of his battleship, his cruisers, and it was just really neat seeing him as a young child or not child, but young man, 18, in the Navy and how it's really evolved. So he'll be here later on, and we're cheering on all the veterans.
I've been coming to this parade for about 12 years. We come because we like to support the troops and just give our thanks by, showing up. We love to see the fire trucks spray the people with water.
Okay, Tony, so we're here at the Torrance Parade, and it looks like you guys are having a cookout. Do you do this every year?
We do this every year, religiously, probably the last 7 years.
The last 7 years. Okay, so what are we cooking today?
We're cooking hot dogs. We have this little special barbecue that I bring out, and family should be coming here soon. And this is Priscilla, and this is my sister Julie, and this is my wife Cynthia, and my son Tony.
Wow, fantastic. So a lot of you came out to watch the parade. Personally, I don't think there are enough hot dogs and chips, but it'll be okay. Now, my question is, what did you come specifically to see in the parade today?
We came specifically to support our troops. We're here to honor our troops, and it's just something that we need to give back to our kids that are overseas and wherever they are.
Watching my son perform in the North High band. They're performing. This is second year performing for the North High band, and we're really excited for him. And just to honor the military, and at the same time, he's good.
Motorcycles.
You like motorcycles? What do you like?
I like seeing the Army and the Navy.
Do you think one day you might want to enlist?
I don't know.
How many years have you been coming to watch the parade?
Well, about like 2.
And how many years have you been coming to the parade?
6.
6 years? And how old are you?
He's 3.
Actually, my wife is in the parade. She's also in the United States Air Force, so, and since I just got out here and she's been out here for a while, I'm here to pretty much support her, so I put on the uniform to support her and the rest of the Air Force and the military.
My husband's actually the drum major of the 300th Army Band. It's a reserve band based in Bell, California, so this is our first year.
How many years have you been coming out to watch the Torrance Parade?
Ever since it started.
Ever since it started.
I've missed a few years, but since '59.
I didn't.
You haven't missed a single year?
Nope.
What's your favorite part in all the years you've been coming to watch?
All of it. Enjoy the bands, everything about it.
Everything.
Everything. People, music.
It's great to see that we've got people who've been coming to the parade for 53 years, honoring and supporting our troops. And of course, maybe we'll start some new traditions with those who are only 2 years old.
Thank you, Shay. Believe it or not, back in 1979, the Armed Forces Day Parade was almost canceled due to lack of funds. And in this time of economic difficulty, cuts have been made to Armed Forces Day funding, but you'd never know it from this year's parade. Reporter TK Trinidad shows us why this year's parade was better than ever.
Celeste Gambelu takes pride in watching her brother, who is in the ROTC, march in the Armed Forces Day Parade. In fact, Celeste and her family tried to make him laugh.
He's the color guard commander, and he was holding the American flag. But every year we have a tradition to ask him and scream at him and yell and ask him for tacos, and so that he can break his bearings just to test if he is still there. Like as with last year, we got the whole entire color guard to laugh.
With military aircrafts, heavy-duty tanks, soldiers with guns, and high school bands, the parade has something for everyone to remember. For Viola Macheni, who has been living in Torrance for more than 60 years and has been coming to the parade since the beginning, it gives her a chance to catch up with friends.
Well, because I know some of the people that are in the parade, and it's just very interesting.
Over 70,000 people attended the parade. 8,000 people were in the parade, and every year it gets better. This is the second year for Luis Da Silva and his family. He believes the parade is a great way to educate his daughter and show their appreciation for the troops.
I get to see all these cool things that I didn't know about.
Oh, I love the fact that it's an excellent opportunity to see all the honor to these people that did so many things for us and for the freedom that we can enjoy today. I have the opportunity to share that with them and cheer for them and clap for them. I think it's spectacular.
As for Celeste Gambelu's brother, he and his girlfriend plan to join the military next year, and Celeste is planning on joining the ROTC.
It's important because it's a good day to honor the people who defended our country in times of need.
The 53rd Armed Forces Day Parade has over 60 entries, and the Grand Marshal of the event is the Secretary of the Air Force, Michael B. Donnelly, who happens to be a South High graduate. For This Week in Torrance, I'm TK Trinidad.
Thank you, TK. Another great display of patriotism and civic pride. We hope you've enjoyed our special edition of This Week in Torrance. I'm Ben McCain, and if you've missed any portion of our show, you can catch us again at 11 a.m. and 6 p.m. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.